Good morning, Albertans. This is very, very important talk, and I hope this gets shared out there because my last 24 hours has been interesting. It's been interesting with the phone calls I've had and some of the more advanced separatist groups talking and leaders and I guess some of the movements, quite a few, and have to make this video for y'all. So I see people are logging on. I want to have this talk here this morning. It's for everybody. I've tagged Marilyn Burns, Paul Hinman, Mark O'Reilly, and why I do that is I had a good talk with Marilyn Burns, as I often do, and she said we got to go back, kind of, not to the drawing board, but really start going around and educating people right at the basic level. For me, that's pretty tough. I've been doing that for 4 years, and the road I've been on has taken me a lot further, a lot further than most, if not maybe all Canadians. It's taken me right through world academia. I don't say that lightly. There's in fact a few of those academics here right on my timeline, and they often do chime in. I guess I could have tagged one here today, but I'll be taking the University of Calgary, everybody. Before I continue, I just want to give a big shout out to Mark O'Reilly. I tagged him in this video. Everybody, Mark's been a loyal follower for a very, very long time. He's that extra set of eyes and research for me, for news, what's going on politically. He helps me right here at domestic Alberta home and Canada, mostly domestic Alberta and the going-ons, as a lot of political parties have blocked me, or just I get so wrapped up in otherworldly areas right now in the global front that I miss a lot of my feeds, or my feeds are just really extensive when it comes to news. So Mark really helps. A lot of you do, but Mark, this is a big shout out for him because he found something that was brought forward by the University of Calgary. It's a new website. It's graduates in political science, people who've actually never walked a mile in political science, or they're taking law from our professors here in Alberta. And I've been having a real struggle, not only with Alberta, but much of Canada. Now, there are some doctorates here in Canada. We lost our number one expert. Texas has recruited him, and he will be leaving. Now, he's a master of Canadian constitutionalism. He was a highly valued asset for Quebec independence and those looking at Quebec getting out of Canada, which that has reared its ugly head just as of yesterday. We see Thomas Mulcair bring up a publication going into great depth on it. They're missing a lot, but I promise you, Canadians, Albertans, the experts we need here in Canada get recruited right out of Canada as fast as they make achievements. That's just reality, unfortunately. It's why I've had to leave Canada and go out on World Academic, and that's what I do. And when I go there, our best in Canada that you never hear from definitely are not at the lower universities. I'm not trying to put down University of Calgary or University of Alberta, but the reality is in economics, in law, especially international or comparative law, these people don't have it. They're not teaching anybody anything, not the best we have. There's a few that have ascended, but you know what? They're long gone from Canada. Because Canada, in this constitutional monarchy, they don't create these platforms as what I experience on the world stage by the best of the best. When you enter just America alone, American academics, which there's a number that just blow away anything Canada's ever produced. Not only in probably intelligence, but just in the way they present, how far they're able to grow, and how free they are to be able to discuss, educate, and work with other nations or other people. We don't have that in Canada. Now, Mark tagged me, it's right on my timeline, in an Alberta UofC, University of Calgary, student website where they go into why Alberta independence isn't good, the pitfalls of separation as they see it. And of course, when you have that kind of literal propaganda, because they've been sitting with university professors who absolutely clearly don't have a clue how the world works. They don't understand international law, and they don't understand comparative law. Almost as if it was Trevor Toome or a number of others, Andrew Leach, and some other radical propagandists teaching the youth of today who can't even apply what they've studied in real life because they don't have a clue in political science how that works, let alone policy, and let alone international or comparative law. It's scary, it's upsetting, and it's why I'm going to get into Paul Hinman and Marilyn Burns now. We can't keep going with this and allowing the same narratives and the youth of today coming up who are completely off base. Many Albertans are way off base in what they believe or what they think they can do and what the reality of the world is. And, you know, that talk I had with Marilyn Burns yesterday, the email little communication with Paul Hinman and several other Albertans that wish to get into independence, some have taken that wrong. They get angry right away. And it's kind of the same people that they respond immediately with, I built a business, somehow I know more than you, I was successful in this area. But then they come into more of an academic situation and they're not even close. And I don't have any disrespect for these people, but it's not going to help us get to independence. That's clear. And if we go with these narratives that are absolutely unfounded, unfactual, and are absolutely going to lead Albertans off a cliff in the end for independence, it's not good. And I do have what we have of some of the smartest Albertans proven track records. Like you look at Marilyn Burns, there's somebody who knows politics inside out, is a lawyer, a graduated lawyer, and has a success rate at it. And when we talk about politics, this woman isn't someone who just fell off the turnip truck. She's created 2 political parties. She's gone very far in politics, established in founding a party that went very, very far, Wild Rose. Paul Hinman involved in all of that too. He was Alliance and in that a merger. He's not, an ignorant man. He's patient with people like myself, and I understand there's a catch-up for a lot of people. There's different levels when we get into succession. I'm way, way too far along for the average Albertan, let alone the masses, and people who aren't even looking at this yet. And Marilyn talked to me about this yesterday, and she's right. An education has to occur on a level of little town halls at the most basic level. But you know what? I'm looking at a university right now going the other way. Some of it they're right about, but a lot of it they're absolutely dead wrong about. And that's the best students, graduates, doctorates we have today right here in Alberta, and they're absolutely completely wrong. And I don't have that doctorate to back it up, but I do have the doctorates worldwide that do back up what I'm saying, that will educate and school these people. So the issue really here is moving masses, having 2 tiers of education here, maybe even 3. Maybe it's a beginner's education, an introduction to independence, an intermediate one, and then an advanced one for many of you. Because I've seen a lot of you get upset with, oh, you're talking about that again. And it's really hard as you bring on new people. And these are actual becoming separatists or people who have a love of certain areas of what we're doing here. And I do have to not dumb it down, but I do have to backstep lots of times, repeat over and over things I've addressed 4 years ago or within the last 8 months or however it be. And it costs me. My long-term followers start to turn off the channel. I get all kinds of new people each and every day, and that's great. I love where the separatist movements, parties, registered are growing to, but there's still a level of an intermediate education, a clearly advanced education that has to go, and there's also, for the masses, a general introductory education that has to go. These are things I've slept on here, and I'm going to have to think about today and how I approach each and every tier, because there are a lot who are lost. There's a lot out there with advanced educations in policy, in economics, in law, that are graduates, not really applied, not in any major way. There's no publications. But now these people hold websites and they believe, just like, I've targeted wealthy people about this, where they think, well, I made a successful business. I can clearly run a province, or I can clearly do all these major things that do not transcend your business skills. And without these other skills, you actually could be a detriment to the people of Alberta. And that is the same as this academic Alberta group here of young people, graduates who believe, hey, I have a doctorate, I'm an expert, I've never lived a life, I've never even utilized political science, I've never ever crafted a policy in my life and then watched that roll out. I've never really studied politics except for at the University of Alberta or the University of Calgary. That makes me the greatest thing since sliced bread. And they're not. And if they went into a world forum, they would find out very quickly that they're very naive. Their passions are great, but how the world really is, by those who've actually spent 20, 30 years studying each and every government, constitutional law, comparative law, written dozens and dozens of best-selling books, or books that are taught by the #1 universities throughout this world. And I guarantee you that's not UofC and U of A, even though they're high and top quality universities. But the reality is they're not out there in world academia. I can clearly tell you that. I think that what I've seen, we have about four people from the University of Ottawa. We've got from Quebec, University of Quebec. There's 2, which we just lost a world credited academic who is now leaving Canada. He's got his new found position in a highly accredited American university, and we're never going to see him again in that way, not representing Canada anyway. This is what people don't know. And people think, well, I'm a doctor, you have to listen to me. And it's like, but you've never worked in your field, not a day in your life. You've never put into practice all the things you were taught in university that these people from Calgary or Edmonton told you you're the best of the best, but you've never put it into practice. This is what I have to reach out and try and do. And as hard as it is for some of the wealthier Albertans, as hard as it's going to be with academics who have a doctorate with no experience or no real publications, but they believe they're the best of the best because some university professors have trained them, they've passed all their courses, and now they think they know everything there is to know about policy, about independence, about how international law works, even though they've never been on any of those stages. It's going to be interesting going forward, and I'm going to take the day to think about how I can get to all these different stages, how I'm going to roll that out. Marilyn's right. I see what Paul Hinman's saying too, and it really is tough because you got to wrangle everybody. But how do you wrangle everybody when I know literally there's probably 1,000 of you out there. A lot of you have turned me off because you've got it. You want to move on. I see comments like that from people over the years that, okay, come on, man, get to the point or get off this topic. You've hit this too many times, but they don't realize they're at a different level, just as I'm at a different level. And even when I talk to separatist groups or registered parties here, party leaders, they're not all at the same level, or they have different concepts that are not really proven, not in any world position, and people get upset. But it's about education. It's about taking these things that may not be what we like or what we think are popular, but we look at them because they're absolutely intricate to how we're going to get independent. And I will be reaching out, Mark O'Reilly and everybody watching, to this group from the University of Calgary, this Lisa who's running it and their website, and I'm going to invite them to Zoom. I don't know if they would be okay with me posting that on Facebook. I will ask all of them if they'll participate, and I'll offer up an education for them and or a debate where I will address all of their issues and topics in great detail in proven academic publication worldwide that they're obviously not familiar with, and with the courts involved, with the players involved, and just a real history since 1948 that transcends almost everything they've been taught in school. As sad as that is, I'm going to be attempting to talk to a couple doctorates and say, sorry to disappoint you. Here are some masterful doctorates worldwide that are going to be telling you that's not how it is. And by the way, here's the next 12 books you can read, and then you come back to me and maybe you should think about changing your website. But that's how hard it is. I don't know, everybody. What do you do? But that's what I'm going to try and do. So thanks for watching. Share it out. This is important. There's a lot here for a lot of people. It's not always about us. It's about the different separatist leaders, the different people. And a lot of you talk about people taking down their barriers, and it's not about who's better or who's best, but it absolutely is all about Albertans. And it absolutely comes down to what's viable, what can be done, and what the world really is. And I'm sorry, but that's my expertise, and I have the credible world experts to back up exactly what I'm saying. Can these other people boast the same? And it's not me touting my horn or saying, oh, these people don't know what they're talking about. It's just a matter of education. It's a matter of walking that distance, and that's why this has to get out. It's not putting people down. As we're seeing, there's doctorates that have to be schooled. How do you get that done? That's going to be something else. You want to talk about people's need to, I'm the best, or however you want to call that? Try dealing with academics, a fresh doctorate graduate who's never really lived a life, and I got to try and attempt to do that. How do you think that's going to go? That's how hard it is. That's really how hard it is. Thanks, everybody. I have a whole bunch of things I got to do today, and I'm got to get going right now. So please share, get it out there. This is important for all separatists. Bye now.